Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Playmore69, aka Michael here, and this is the All in All Podcast, episode 22. And in this episode today, I didn't really have a main topic for this week, but the State of the Union just happened, so I thought I would share my thoughts about it. And, it just gives me a topic for the podcast because I didn't really have an official one this week. It was really just going to be me mainly talking about my YouTube channel and kind of the direction moving forward for it. But I thought about it, dedicating an entire podcast episode to that, and that probably wasn't the best. So I wanted to at least have a main topic, and lo and behold, the State of the Union was this week. So I waited until tonight, which is Tuesday night of March 1st, 2022. So I can give my first reactions to it. I just finished watching it. I also watched a couple people watching it alongside as well, some conservative people and also some people on the left. So just to give more of a general idea of how people are feeling about it. So just to start off, I would like to say that for those of you who don't know, I am on the left. So a lot of what Biden said, I would agree with and definitely would get behind. So I think the biggest thing that I always champion or kind of go for as someone on the left is taxes. So that is one thing that I feel that would really help the US economy if taxes were increased on, the very wealthy, especially S&P 500 companies. That I like that Biden shared a fact about them that I think it was 50 odd companies out of the S&P 500 made over $40 billion in 1 year and paid absolutely zero in federal income tax. That, I think, right there highlights the problem with the tax system in this country. And it's not the percentages that the companies are taxed or the ultra wealthy are taxed. It's really just, it comes down to the loopholes that they have. So when it comes to these loopholes, he was talking about, raising the tax rate for companies and such. But I really don't think that's going to do much because, again, it starts with closing out the tax loopholes. If the tax loopholes are not closed, then the ultra wealthy and these businesses are still going to take advantage of those. That's just obvious. As long as the tax loopholes are there, it doesn't matter if the tax rate's at 100%. It really is just not going to make a difference. And he also said that he was trying to raise taxes, but for no one making under 400K a year, which I also like to hear because he's distinguishing between the very wealthy in this nation and the very rich companies. And then also distinguishing between the common Americans. So I really like that he made that distinction and that was in his speech. So, at least when he was kind of talking about that, that's when I fully agreed with him. It was like, okay, I love hearing this. Obviously, is it going to happen? Probably not. I know that. But again, it's something that at least I like the president is talking about. I guess another thing that, of course, he touched on was the coronavirus. So just to briefly talk about that, he talked about the Pfizer pills that are coming out. It's to treat COVID while a person has it, and it decreases hospitalization by 97% with these COVID pills. And these are developed by Pfizer, and they are free. And if you test positive for COVID in a pharmacy, you'll get these pills right away for free. And, I do like that because we are still living in the pandemic technically. Coronavirus is still a thing, even though Russia, Ukraine is the talk of pretty much everyone online now. And that's the discourse. That's kind of what it's been the past month and especially the past week with Russia invading Ukraine. Coronavirus is still going on and it is definitely not eliminated. And, we also have to think about other variants. Could it mutate again? How much would that affect us? So I'm glad that he touched on that. And that to me was obviously a good thing to touch on. And, as long as he keeps rolling with the new developments in COVID, the new science, new vaccines, new pills, I'm happy to see that, because obviously I think that pretty much everyone can agree that we want to see COVID gone. He also talked about guns, which really the main talking points when he talked about guns were mainly about ghost guns, funny enough, which I don't really know why that was addressed in the State of the Union, considering that is not a big threat to the United States at all, really. Most of the crimes that are committed with guns are guns that are bought within the United States legally. So I think the whole ghost guns thing weren't really a big thing, and he kind of made it a big thing. I have that in my notes, and really just with a question mark next to it, why even bring that up? I don't know, maybe just to fear monger around guns. It seems that people on the left really try to fear monger about guns and are not pro-gun. I'm a little bit different than most people on the left on that, because I take a different stance. I'm a lot more pro-gun. Obviously, I don't believe that ghost guns should be a thing, or that they should be able to be accessed, but I also don't believe that they're a big threat. There's also a lot bigger threats that you could make with guns. He also touched on healthcare, which mainly it was about insulin and the price of it here in the United States, which is absolutely insane. It's just over $300 when it takes about $10 to produce one vial of insulin. And everyone that has diabetes, doesn't matter if it's type 1 or anything above that, you have to have insulin once a month. And it just makes sense that he is trying to cap insulin at $35 for the American people. And even then, at $35 a vial, the pharma companies are still making $25 per sale. So, of course, it's going to impact the pharma companies, but if it's for the health of the American people, I think that that's a really good thing. And I really like to see the healthcare reform, because that's something that America desperately needs. We need more affordable healthcare, and I'm really glad that he touched on that topic. Again, do I think it's going to happen? Probably not, but it was good to hear. Also, for his take on police, he said the answer is not to defund them, but it is to fund them, which I do agree with. I think that police need proper training, and this proper training will help them do their job more efficiently. But also in that, I think there are other things that could be done, not with funding the police, but with doing things such as decriminalizing drugs, like marijuana, for instance. I think that would definitely alleviate the amount of arrests that are done each year and the amount of prosecutions that are done each year, truly to the American people. And that's something so small that can just happen for the United States, to decriminalize a very, very minor drug of weed. I think that would have the biggest impact to America, rather than just funding the police, because I know funding the police will help, but I really think that the decriminalization of certain drugs like marijuana would help even more. And the last thing I wanted to touch on was the manufacturing plan that Biden had for Let's Make It in America. And I definitely agree with this, because it was about the investment from the Intel CEO to invest in factories around the United States to produce more computer chips. Now, as someone who works in the IT industry, I obviously know how expensive computer chips are, especially for GPUs and CPUs. And that's also something I'll talk about a little bit later in this podcast when I address my sort of plans for my channel moving forward, and also the purchase of a new PC hopefully soon. And it's something I like to hear, the investment into America and, make it in America, especially the Intel CEO, if he can make, that $100 billion investment. Apparently that's what Biden said for actual computer chips. To me, that would be a really great investment to have in the United States. I would love to see it because to see the chip prices, especially GPU prices, go down would be very nice to see, because even just getting a top of the line GPU now is basically impossible. Okay, so that was about it for my reaction of the State of the Union. Obviously, it was a very broad, as always, State of the Union about the many issues happening in the United States and how the current president wants to fix them. Now, do I really think that these things will be fixed? Probably not. I'm hoping for one or two, maybe, but obviously all that the president promises will probably not get fixed. So this brings me to the second part of the podcast, more of the longer part, and the part that was the really main topic of this episode. And that is the direction of my channel moving forward and the content that I will be posting on my channel. So to start off, ever since coming back to YouTube in 2021, it was actually October of 2021, the 21st of October, that I came back and posted my first video back on YouTube. And that was the All in All Podcast episode 1. So I posted that, and pretty much for the past 4.5 months now, that's been my channel. It has been a podcast every week. I haven't missed a week yet, but it's been, every week, one episode of the All in All Podcast. And that has been, pretty much the upload schedule. There hasn't been anything different. So obviously, I've been looking to change that. I've been trying to think about what other content do I want to do. And that's when I had the bright idea of kind of going back to my roots in a way. I'm known for doing Call of Duty commentaries, and that is something that, I kind of want to get back into doing. Not just necessarily Call of Duty, but also just gameplay commentaries in general. These are basically videos that are, less than 10 minutes long, me just giving my take on a certain topic. You can basically think of them as mini podcasts in a way. They're basically just one topic videos that talk about one thing specifically. They're less than 10 minutes long. They're a lot shorter, so they appeal to a lot of a wider range of audience and people. And I posted my first Call of Duty commentary back a couple days ago, and that was about Russia-Ukraine. That has really been the main news topic for especially the past week, but really the past month. And I was going to dedicate a podcast episode to it, but I thought most people already on the internet have gave their take on it. And my take is relatively similar. Most people's take on the internet is pretty much the same, and I didn't really see it necessary of dedicating an entire 30-minute or even an hour-long podcast just to reiterate points that have already been talked about, probably a million times already. So I made a quick commentary about Russia invading Ukraine and just put it over some Black Ops 2 gameplay. That's really the only gameplay or game that my computer can handle at the moment. I am currently trying to get a new computer because I have said multiple times now on the podcast especially that my current computer is just a laptop, and it's over 3.5 years old, and it's basically been its use case of just getting me through college. And now the fact that I'm out of college, I do need a new PC, and I've been looking extensively for PCs to buy. I've been wanting to build my PC, but it's very hard to still get your hands on a decent graphics card. So I might just have to buy a pre-built, but there are a lot of good pre-builts out there. So I might just go with one of those, but currently I'm looking for more of a deal. So I haven't pulled the trigger on anything yet, but as soon as I can, I hopefully can post not just older Call of Duty gameplay, but just newer Call of Duty gameplay and maybe just newer games in general for the background. Because, I want to make these gaming commentaries just with also newer games and a more wide variety. So that's really my plan with that. And now I will touch on upload schedule. So since I've came back to YouTube and posted the first video in over, like 6 years on my channel that I've specifically made and did a commentary on, which was the podcast, I am now committing to 2 videos a week on my channel. I want to post one, obviously, podcast episode a week. That's the All in All podcast. That's not changing. But I also want to post one gaming commentary, most likely Call of Duty, but it could change. So the gaming commentary will be obviously the shorter video of the week. It'll be probably under 10 minutes, maybe around 8 minutes or so, maybe even less. But that's really what I'm shooting for with those. And obviously with the podcast, I shoot for 30 minutes or more. And if I have a guest on, it will probably be, over an hour, even 2. So that's really my plan with the upload schedule as of now. I'm committing to 2 videos a week because I think I can handle that. I was able to handle doing the podcast every single week for the past 4.5 months, and I haven't missed a single week, even though some weeks have been a lot better than others. The fact that I've been able to commit to a schedule shows me that I'm able to do YouTube consistently to the point to where I want to obviously now commit to doing 2 videos a week. And I don't know how long I'll be doing 2 videos a week before I increase my upload schedule, because obviously I do want to increase it. But as of now, it will be 2 videos a week. The Call of Duty commentary or just gaming commentary will be over just one topic. It'll be very short, obviously. And, it'll just be over a topic that I don't really know. Maybe I find interesting. Maybe it's in the news. I have no idea. The podcast could be topics that I do find interesting and, just what's going on, maybe drama, maybe a react video. But it also could be conversations with people. That's something that I want to have more on my podcast. I just haven't been able to obtain many guests. I'm, very happy for the people that have came on my podcast and have talked to me, but that's really a problem that I've been having is obtaining guests for my podcast. So, I'm still looking for people to come on. I just haven't been able to secure really anyone yet. So I'll still be looking for that. But as of now, the podcast is still basically a solo podcast. I don't have any plans in the future for bringing anyone on. I might bring on guests I've already had on, which I don't necessarily not like that. It's just, it might get old after a while. So I'm trying to think about those things. Now I wanted to talk about my second channel. This is something I really have never talked about since coming back to YouTube. And this is a channel that I created back with my main channel about 2 months apart. And the second channel I originally created for uploading more content. Sadly, I never did anything with it. I literally just let it sit there and never uploaded on it, never did anything. So after getting that second channel, because it was on my other email, obviously, I thought about it and, I basically came to the conclusion that a very small YouTuber like myself probably needs more than one channel to grow an audience and grow a viewer base. And that's really what I'm trying to do as of now. I'm trying to grow a viewer base. Ever since I've got back to YouTube, that's kind of been my goal, is to just get a consistent viewer base. And having a second channel, and uploading to it will obviously increase my chances of gaining a viewer base. And maybe I'll gain 2 different viewer bases. Some people will, know me from the channel I post on over there, and some people will know me from the channel I post on here. That might be the case. And that is the case with a lot of YouTubers, honestly. So that is something that I want to try to do. I have my second channel now. It's obviously, if you just go to my main channel, in my channels, it'll show it's my second channel. It'll show it in features, whatever. If you're on the home page of my channel, it's just Playmore96. That's what I named it. It used to be called Mr. Playmore69, but I thought, Playmore96 just is cool because I switched the 9 and the 6 instead of Playmore69 2 or more Playmore69 or whatever, something like that. So it's, almost like a standalone channel on its own. The big problem I'm having as of now with it is actually figuring out what content to post on it. It's something that I haven't really came to the conclusion for. As of what I'm doing right now on my main channel, it's the podcast and then going to be one gaming commentary a week. So that's really what will be on the main channel. But as for my second channel, do I want it to be totally different content, or do I want the content to be somewhat similar to the content I post here? I mean, I would like it to be somewhat similar. So I'm really trying to figure that out as of now. I haven't came to any conclusions of what content I actually want to post on my second channel, but I'm still figuring that out. If anyone has any suggestions, I'd love to hear them in the comments, but I still haven't figured anything out. So nothing is set in stone there. It might be something gaming related, because I was thinking about posting more like highly edited videos over there, but highly edited videos are something that are very hard to post consistently, and that's a big thing I am trying to obviously stay on track with YouTube, is posting consistently. So when you think about these documentary channels or these channels that post very highly edited content or like video essays and stuff, these take months to produce, especially with someone like me who doesn't have an editor, doesn't have a writing team, doesn't have a editing team or any of that. I do all of this on my own. I record all of this on my own. I edit it all on my own. I export it all on my own. I upload it all on my own, all of this. So managing just 2 videos a week on my main channel is going to be pretty hard. And then managing another video or just another channel in general, even if I post once a week there, is going to be a hell of a lot to manage. So, I want to take it slowly, and I do want to post 2 videos a week here, at least, a couple weeks in a row before I start really putting more thinking time and brain power into my second channel, because I don't know what I'm going to post there yet, but I just want to make sure I can upload 2 videos a week on my main channel before I start focusing on my second channel, which really hasn't even taken off yet. It has like 20 something subscribers. I never even posted any videos on it, so it's not like it has an audience yet. My main channel at least has an audience. And I guess the final topic that I wanted to touch on with my channel and my content moving forward is collaborations. Now, it's not just bringing someone on the podcast, but it's also like collaborating with other content creators like YouTubers. And it is something that I've thought about a lot. I just don't think that I'm a big enough YouTuber for other YouTubers to even collaborate with, because it's not like I get a lot of views or have a lot of subscribers. So I personally think that, collaborations just aren't going to happen, because I know how other YouTubers are, or just, any YouTuber in general. When you go to collaborate with someone, you look at their subscribers, you look at their viewers on their most recent videos. And I don't think I possess enough to do collaborations, even though collaborations would be very beneficial to do. I really haven't done any, because usually, I was kind of thinking if a YouTuber has a podcast, they would probably bring at least someone else on. It makes sense. And that is something that I have thought about for my podcast. But if I can't even get just people I know on my podcast, then I don't think I'll be getting any YouTubers on my podcast anytime soon. So, I hate to say that, but that just seems to be the case with my channel as of now. And I guess the final and most important question of all of this in the changing of my content for my channel is why? And I can answer that by saying I am trying to appeal to a wider range of audience. So, I know the podcast is only going to get me so far. And I know appealing to a wider range audience, which hopefully the, gaming commentaries will, because they are a lot shorter, they're more traditional, and obviously more people watch them. And the reason I want to start uploading on my second channel is to obviously just build or just have the chance to build a viewer base, because, from right now on my main channel, I've been uploading consistently on it for 4.5 months. And where has that got me? Not that far. And again, I don't want to be a view chaser or any of that, but I would like to have some sort of a fan base and not seem like I'm screaming into the void every week, because even though just talking here on the podcast alone is very therapeutic to me, having a viewer base is also quite nice too. And that is something I want to try to accomplish on YouTube, because I did at one point have a viewer base back when I was a Call of Duty commentator all those years ago. So those are the main reasons for me changing my content, and really that is kind of the future of my channel and also my second channel for the foreseeable future. Obviously, if you have any questions or suggestions about my content, I'd love to hear them. You can always put it in the comments down below, a question, or you can DM me on Discord. Both are accepted and I will respond to. So that's about it for this podcast. It was mainly about the future of my channel and my content, obviously, but also it was my reactions to the State of the Union, which again, I will put some links in the description down below that are basically the transcript of the State of the Union, and I think the CNN updates, which I kind of went off of. Anyways, don't want to ramble on for too much longer. Thank you for listening, and until next time, see ya.